Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking all about Disney Plus and the D23 Expo. There was tons of new shows. We finally got to see some trailers. There's been lots of news this week. We've also got some movie news and stuff as well. It's all been building up to this. But obviously, we've got lots of new people within our community this week. So a big hello and welcome. And make sure you do subscribe to us as well on YouTube and on the audio platforms. Now, so we're not going to do the normal what we've been watching because there's been a lot of stuff. But I just kind of want to first let's just jump into what was your overall impression of the news that came out of the D23 Expo, James?
Mostly expected. So kind of neutral, honestly. Yeah. I mean, overall positive. There were a lot of good announcements, but there weren't too many surprises. But that's what they needed for D23, for the new shows, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, for me, I thought the actual presentation that they've put out, it was a bit of an odd one in the fact that they didn't actually I don't know, it's that kind of weird thing of like why they don't live stream the stuff. I don't know. They were live tweeting, the trailers were dropping online literally within minutes of them talking about them on Twitter, which is fantastic. It almost felt like even if you weren't in the room, there was an experience going on while it was happening, because we were seeing there was so much news coming out, and they were putting out the official photographs, and they were putting out the official images, and they were putting out the trailers, that it kind of felt like even the stuff that we didn't see maybe at home, we got to be part of it. And I was just frantically just busy for hours. That's why the podcast was a day late, was because I didn't go to bed till nearly just after 2:30. I couldn't actually fall asleep till nearly 3. Would have been so bad, but when you have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work, that wasn't so keen. So it was that kind of thing. It was great. There was loads of stuff coming through. There was a few surprises, which are good. Well, I say surprises. 2 of them were. One of them wasn't, but there was a few kind of interesting bits and pieces. But the buzz and the excitement over Disney Plus, it was trending on Twitter. It was, as far as a launch night went for Disney Plus, looking at how they've done this past week, I definitely say they've had a massive success. On the flip side, then we had the Walt Disney Studios stuff last night that I was watching or trying to keep up with, and it felt so flat compared to the night before, because they were putting out the odd image on Twitter. No trailers, no nothing, no real excitement. A lot of people laughed, like the buzz after that on Twitter and stuff and on Facebook was very light. Not a lot of excitement over what had been shown, and it was kind of quite a tale of like the Disney Plus event was really quite hyped and everyone was excited. The actual movie presentation did not have that. It was that you can almost go, yeah, we're not putting out trailers because we want all the attention on Disney Plus this week. And Disney Plus as a whole, looking at the photographs and stuff of what's going on at that D23 Expo, they were on all the bags. People were having hats. They were having the pins. There was massive pavilions. There was massive advertising. This was one big advert for Disney Plus by the looks of what pictures I've seen.
And that's what we expected for the most part. D23 is the major launch event of the year. It's what they want all the focus on. And obviously it's where they're going to make a lot of money, hopefully. And, we'll have Rise of Skywalker. There's a couple other movies still in the pipeline. But, yeah, they already have their hype. D23, they need to get the word out. Even to the D23 goers, they need them to know Disney Plus. And then they need them to go home to people who don't go to D23, who probably aren't as big Disney fans as people who actually go, and go, no, you want this. You want this right away. And even I was talking to my brother-in-law this weekend, and we were talking about like the shows that were going to be coming out. This was before a lot of the trailers had actually hit, and I was telling him about the Mandalorian and things like that. And it's like, oh, yeah, maybe we should be looking into this. Also, keeping in mind my family and when we bring people in, we do have like that history of watching the Disney movies, whenever we visit. So even though aside from myself, the family's not huge Disney fans, they're not like, oh, we got to go to the parks all the time or see all the movies. We do have that like, oh, we'll watch 101 Dalmatians or we'll watch Snow White or something like that, just as kind of like family time.
Yeah, I mean, even some of my staff and stuff when they came into my real work, they were like, "Oh yeah, we saw the trailers and stuff." So it broke through millions of people. It just, as a whole, I don't think the Disney Plus team can really have done any more than they have done. I think they've had an incredible week to kind of get this thing out there. You know, they're actively out there now on social media. That's all launched this week. Which, you know, that's been great, and all the big channels have been pushing it and stuff. It's just been all over the place this week, and I think they've had a massive buzz. And to go to the D23 Expo, that was their core audience. You know, you've got tens of thousands, 100,000 Disney fans in one building with that are in system. You know, they are the easy converts. You know, this is the, you know, that whole 3-year deal, get 3 years for a discount. People were signing up to get that pin just alone. You know, the pin collectors would have been there, you know, just as it was the perfect place to get people locked in. And yeah, it should be good. And like I said, lots of news. So let's jump now let's just go through the bit. So obviously, it's been a busy week as a whole, tons of news, just so much. So let's just go through the actual main showcase that they put out there. So this was about 2 hour and a half long, 2 hours, lots of new interesting bits and pieces. So first off, the new series that were announced included from Star Wars. We've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is now confirmed. Ewan McGregor went out on stage and confirmed that he's going to be playing it. It's kind of one of this weird thing because in some ways, like when all the news gets out early and leaks out and stuff like that, it builds up the excitement. But obviously then when they actually announce it, the crowd went nuts and stuff as expected. But it was that kind of thing of like, yeah, we kind of do. We've known about this for a while, but it was great to kind of see it confirmed.
Well, we've known they've wanted to do it for a while, and they were in talks, and I stand by my skepticism on it, even though it did pan out. But yeah, I mean, yeah. It's still an announcement. We had suspicions, but obviously it turned out to be true. And I'll also stand by another statement from last week, which is that we're only going to remember the ones that turned out to be true. All of the other predictions that people were making have already been forgotten in the wake of the announcements. That said, Obi-Wan, definitely looking forward to it. Glad that they got Ewan back in. And yeah, that'll be a good follow-up for The Mandalorian in terms of series that people want to watch.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good one that they've done this and got that out there. You know, him being on the stage to kind of close the show, great. I thought they couldn't have done it any better. You know, we now know we got those free Star Wars series were set up, and the way that they're talking stuff, you know, they're invested in this big time. You can see the execs are excited about this. They know they're basically making TV, but they've got the budget and they've got the hit behind them it's that kind of weird thing of making TV series and stuff. And yeah, I just think that is pretty cool. Also from the Marvel side, we had 3 new series announced. Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk. She-Hulk has been around for a while as a rumor. Moon Knight has been tossed about, but in that same way of just like, let's grab a character and just keep throwing names around. That one didn't seem to be. That was probably the big surprise was Moon Knight, and then Miss Marvel, and this was one of those weird things. If that one had actually leaked about an hour or two before the event, it was like, oh, someone's been attached to Miss Marvel, and then to have the official reveal just literally within an hour, was like, oh, okay, they were pretty close on for that one. Those 3 new series, I'm looking forward to this. Moon Knight kind of feels like that, like Netflixy kind of thing that they're kind of missing.
Well, Moon Knight will depend entirely upon what kind of story they want to tell with Moon Knight, because you can go a couple different directions, but the traditional directions are one kind of a psychological horror.
Yeah.
Because he's got multiple personality, kind of in the Hollywood sense of the term, and you know, he often fights villains who have some sort of psychological component. Or you can do him as the Marvel version of Batman.
Yeah.
Obviously, he inverted the color scheme, but the tools are the same. He's still got the billionaire background, high school, teaching. You know, he was a mercenary, but he amassed a fortune, et cetera, et cetera. He's a billionaire. everything is moon this, moon that, the moon copter, the moon cycle. So it depends on what. What was that?
He's basically Batman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can either do Marvel version of Batman or the psychological horror. Now, I know which one is more interesting to me because we already have Batman, in the DC version, Christian Bale and all that. We'll see what they do. It'll probably be some mix of both. Obviously, Miss Marvel is a huge character in the Marvel Universe at the moment, very popular. She's got a pretty rabid following. Her comics do extremely well. Now, her original creator is no longer writing the series, and I think there's been a little bit of a die down on attention on her, but still, getting her out there, she's a good character for young girls to look up to, as well as a lot of story potential.
And also she's going to lead in. She is going to be into the movie as well. I think she'll be in Captain Marvel 2 or something. So they'll be leading into. And this is where that whole integration with the MCU coming in, because now we're looking at like the MCU on Disney Plus, and you're going, okay, they've got, what we got now, 7 or 8. We've got Hawkeye, Winter Soldier. We've got WandaVision, Loki. We've now got and then we've got the 3 we just mentioned. That's 7 series. That's a lot of and that's just within 3 years. And they're definitely going for it.
What If as well, I think. Did you?
Yeah, I mean, What If, that was kind of an interesting one. They showed us some artwork and stuff, and they confirmed. Basically, I think there's going to be like 20 plus episodes. There's going to be one on every single movie. And most of the people involved in Marvel will be doing the voices and stuff for them. And I think they'll be basically just taking the movie and then like flipping it. That seems to be their way of doing it. Is like they're going to do the what if this happened with this particular movie. And I think I'm excited about that one. I think that one's going to be really interesting to see where they go. And it's going to give them a bit of freedom. And I think like from creatively, I think that's what they want. Now, obviously, we can't mention the MCU without the other issue of the week, which is different to the Disney Plus, was obviously the Spider-Man controversy of Sony and Disney apparently having a sort of an argument over what's going on with that one there. And Sony kind of threw Kevin under the bus with the kind of thing of, he's very busy with all his projects that he's working on, and Disney Plus was kind of one of those projects, and everything kind of blew up at the beginning of the week. And hopefully they will sort it all out. But generally on the lines of Disney didn't want him working on the new Spider-Man movies when he's got all this other stuff he needs to be working on, which makes sense from Disney. But that's going to be a whole other topic in itself at a later date. But getting back to the Disney Plus showcase, there was another announcement, which was that Lizzie McGuire will be returning for a brand new series with Hilary Duff, set now with her being the age she is in New York. And that's that. She came out on stage. We'd kind of again heard about this just shortly before the event happened as well. This kind of broke out, but we actually reported on this that there was rumors around this. I think actually back to nearly last year there was rumors of this sort of coming back. So, but again, a nice big surprise and definitely a Disney Channel thing for bringing people back in. I thought that was a cool moment.
Yeah, again, it's just like Raven's House or one of the other ones where they're going back to some nostalgia and bringing it back in. It's not something that I never watched the original Lizzie McGuire, but I know there are plenty of people who did. And it gives them another reason to come and check it out. Plus, they were able to get Hilary Duff back, as you said, which I don't know how big she is these days, but still, she's grown, or she grew as an actress after the show ended. So you could argue that that's still a decently important name to get attached to the show. Yeah,
and that's I was joking around yesterday. Was all going. Yeah, I don't see they're going to be doing a Hannah Montana remake anytime soon for that reason. But nevertheless, the last kind of big reveal was that there is a new series called Muppets Now, which is a unscripted short-form series featuring the Muppets. And there's going to be a lot more Muppet stuff coming on. That kind of was announced, but there wasn't anything more to it than that. But definitely cool to see the Muppets back. I think this is what they they were filming it back in June, and they were doing it back to back within a week, and it's all kind of like non-scripted, and I think just kind of basically a cheap Muppet show in terms of a very easy, cheap one to make, because they've just letting maybe the writers and stuff have a bit of fun with it, which I think is probably the best thing about the Muppets. It's like when you see them on like daytime TV or presenting stuff, and they're all just doing it on the cuff. They're actually probably just as more exciting than if they're in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, the Muppets are always at their best when they're doing just kind of short form sketch work. I mean, the movies have been good for the most part, but really they're at their funniest when they're not restricted by, you know, having to do a half-hour show every week or whatever. Just let them have fun. Let the sketch take as long as or as short as it needs to. Get some celebrity power in there and tell some jokes. And that's always what they've been best at. So definitely happy to see that announcement.
Yeah, there's also, they are working on another movie and there's other projects going on as well.
Josh Gad, I think, attached to the movie.
Yeah. There were some other things kind of not necessarily announced, but we found out some more information on like Tongo, which is a movie which is going to be coming. It's going to be coming to Disney Plus in December, which that was good to hear that movie has. I feel like that's been pushed up maybe for Christmas. I think that one's a good one. That's going to star William Dafoe, and it's all about an Alaskan dog. And again, that one should be interesting to see where they go with that one. Also, Diary of a Female President, that was kind of officially kind of unveiled, and the main actress and the kid actress have been promoting the show as well at the event. And afterwards, we know now that Star Wars: The Clone Wars will be available in February in 2020. So there's going to be a whole new season of that, and features 12 new episodes. Timmy Failure Mistakes Were Made. That'll be coming in early 2020. That's a brand new movie. Again, this is where some of this stuff is the original stuff, which everyone's kind of after. We've also got Stargirl, which is going to be coming again in early 2020, which that one seems to grab a lot of attention, but I'm sure that's because of the mix-up with the DC character. That one's I don't know, but also the fact that it stars Grace VanderWaal, which won as Americans Got Talent or something. So she seems to be very popular. And then they kind of went through some of the Marvel stuff. They revealed a little bit more. Obviously, they confirmed that Emily Van Camp will be coming back as Agent 13. And we're also going to be having Wyatt Russell will be playing John Walker, who I believe is the U.S. agent. Is that that's a hero, isn't it? U.S. agent. Yeah.
Sometimes. The main problem with, or the main take on U.S. agent is he's often a failed version of Captain America. And he can often be used as kind of like a nationalist kind of character.
Yeah.
So he's a hero, but he sometimes goes a bit too far. Depends on which interpretation of the character they go with.
Now, the thing is, I'm a bit more confused. In Jessica Jones, there was another guy. Was that U.S. agent?
There have been multiple Captain Americas. There have been multiple U.S. agents. The guy who you're talking about was in season 1 and part of season 2. That was based on another character who used the U.S. agent, and he was based on a character who was subjected to this super soldier serum many years after Captain America to try to recreate it. And as we know from Marvel history, anybody who tries to recreate the super soldier serum, that's a mouthful, fails and normally goes insane or turns into a Hulk or something like that. And that's what happened to that character. He lost touch with reality, kind of went a little mad.
Yeah, because that's what was throwing me, because I was thinking, well, we've already had kind of that character, but maybe they're going to, like you said, there's a different version of him.
There's last time I heard, there's like 7 versions of the character. So, and almost all of them end up going bad at some point.
Yeah, kind of makes sense. We also got to see 2 of the new characters from the new Monsters at Work series, which is a new Pixar animated one. We learned a little bit more about WandaVision. I say a little bit more. They kind of came on the stage and I did like Dick Van Dyke music, and kind of basically setting up the idea that it's all suburban. And they confirmed a few actors from the MCU were going to be in there doing bits and pieces. So yeah, it's going to be like based on a classic sitcom with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to be weird. I think that's going to be the general gist of this one.
Well, the thing that grabs me about it, about WandaVision, and actually several of the other announced Marvel shows, is that in addition to the title character, we're seeing a lot of other returning characters who might have had bit parts or have only appeared in one of the movies. And you kind of alluded to this earlier, but these Disney Plus shows are really kind of enhancing the interconnected nature in a way that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter and Runaways and all those never really realized. And it's good to see that kind of promise that was made all the way back in, 2012, 2011, when they started Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to have that interconnected universe really coming true. And yeah, the series itself is probably going to be weird as heck. There's going to be time jumping and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. But I'm glad to see other familiar characters being brought back in. Even if they're only in like half of an episode or something like that, it reminds you that this is all part of one giant universe.
And let's be honest, they're going to get a lot more screen time in these TV series than they would do in the movie. Because that's only, and it's, that's kind of cool. We also, as I said, we got a little bit more information on that What If with Haley Atwell was kind of the main one being pushed. They showed some like footage to the audience and some screens. I don't know necessarily footage, but artwork of her kind of getting the super serum because if she became Captain America rather than Captain America, and she becomes Captain Carter or something like that. They also had Diego Luna and Alan out there from the Rogue One prequel talking about that series, kind of hyping that one up, kind of probably no doubt looking at all the Mandalorian going, we'll be here next year doing this or next time doing this. No name really announced for that one. They just they were out there hyping it up and saying this stuff, but they didn't really, there was not really any news from that one there. But just great to kind of, they really were pushing the idea that there's a lot of stuff coming to Disney Plus over the next year. But this was very much launch window, just after, really focusing on what's coming, but also sending that Star Wars and Marvel stuff going. There's a lot of other stuff coming as well.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the core of the shows of the announcements is Marvel and Star Wars, because those are the big sellers. But yeah, let's talk about some of the other bits and pieces.
Right. Okay, so now let's do some trailers. So let's talk about the trailer. This is the stuff we all got to see. This is where we can go a little bit more into, the fact that we actually officially now have trailers, and we had, I think it was 6 over the weekends that were released. So let's go through them now. So first off, I think we have to start with The Mandalorian, the big one, the one that everyone's been looking forward to. I'll be honest, I watched this here, and the exact thing that we want to do, it felt like it was a movie trailer, didn't it? This felt, you're talking major bucks have been spent on this. We got to see the Mandalorian in action. We didn't, obviously haven't seen him without his helmet on, but they set this up as, we got the ships, we got the spaceship. It looks like Star Wars, doesn't it?
The show definitely looks like Star Wars. The trailer itself was awful, but not the content of the trailer. Yeah. The content looks good. You've got IG-11 doing some spinny stuff. You've got the ship. You've got the Mandalorian showing up. You've got a couple cameos for characters that are obviously going to be important. You've got the Death Troopers, the Stormtroopers on spikes, just their helmets, obviously. But the trailer itself was awful. The pacing was terrible. The music didn't line up with it at all. I felt like nothing about the show from the trailer in any way, shape, or form. It showed us cool pieces, but there was nothing connecting them at all. It took I had to go back and rewatch it to be like, what are they trying to do here? And then it's like, oh, he's going from this planet to this planet to this planet collecting bounties. But that just did not come across at all. Yeah. Obviously,
it was just like a highlight reel of this character, this nice bit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah. It's a highlight reel. It's not a trailer.
Yeah.
It was, as a trailer, it is awful. As a highlight reel, it's fine. It doesn't diminish my hype for the show. I'm still very excited for the show, and the scenes we did see were great. But if this had been like the introduction to it, this is The Mandalorian, this is our first look at it, I would have been like, this, I don't know who put together the trailer, and I don't like evidence to the contrary. I don't like saying negative things about what people are doing, but that trailer was amateurish, really amateurish.
Yeah, it's kind of like it was the only trailer that when they were breaking, because I actually didn't watch the trailers till the following morning because I had so much. I was trying to get them up and trying to get everything out there. I didn't get but when the Mandalorian drop, I was like, no, you can all wait. I'm watching it. I watched it. It was like, no, I have to watch this first. I'll see. I even put out a tweet going, I'll see you in 1 minute and 28 because it was. I have to watch this, and I was just like, that looks cool. It was great. I just like the fact that it was this character. Here's some footage, no context, no idea what was going on. It's like you say about like going to planet. Like I got to the end of it and it was like, yeah, I know nothing. I just seen some cool pictures. He was in action. It looks cool, and that was it. Really, I glossed over it and carried on because I've watched it a couple more times since, and it's just like it's just there to show off that he looks cool as a Boba Fett outfit. That was basically what got people excited, and that's kind of like. But as you said, as a trailer, it didn't give you that story mode of like, what is this series about? Where is it going? Whereas like with like Noelle, that told the story before you know it. Whereas the Mandalorian, wasn't. Here's some great clips.
Yeah, and it's a nice highlight reel. It's a nice visual thing, but that does have me a little bit worried because even if you don't want to reveal the story in the trailer, although we'll talk about Noelle and it revealing the story in a minute, but The Mandalorian tells you nothing about the story, and it makes me kind of wonder if it's just a pure spectacle show where it's just kind of Last Jedi-ish with just a string of cool moments, cool moment, with only not even like a threadbare story to put it together. And that was a big problem with the Last Jedi. I know you have your own opinion on The Last Jedi and so on, and other people, and they're entitled to it. And this is just I don't even want to call it a trailer. This is a highlight reel of events, and I just want to make sure that the show itself is not a highlight reel. I want the show to actually have a story, and we have no idea what that story is.
Yeah. Also, it has been confirmed that this will be a weekly series, and there's 8 episodes, so kicks off in November. We'll obviously then finish probably around about Christmas time. Unfortunately for us over here in the UK, and also at least in France and other European countries, the official UK website, Twitter did say about seeing it in early 2020, which is a massive pain. There's some massive things. So yes, we no doubt us Star Wars fans are going to find other alternatives to ways of watching it. Personally, I'd go with the VPN option rather than going down the pirate hat version myself. I'm sure that there's different ways. And while we don't condone this kind of stuff, Disney have kind of putting us Star Wars fans in that situation. Because I was at my games club the other night, and we're all playing our Star Wars games. And the Mandalorian in the UK release was a big thing, and they were all asking about how to watch it because, Star Wars fans don't like being left out. So this is not a good thing. I don't think it's going to be too long before it goes everywhere, and we're going to get into the international part of it later on, because that was another big announcement that was, that feels like a year ago, but there's a lot of things in between. So let's get back onto the trailers. So Noelle, we'll talk that one next. What were your thoughts on Noelle then?
It looked like Elf. The Will Ferrell movie, except without Will Ferrell, which for me is actually a plus. I don't actually like Will Ferrell's brand of comedy. Cringe comedy, embarrassment comedy, I can't do it. But they had that in this trailer as well, obviously, with Anna Kendrick, like, barricading herself in a freezer and, tutting one of the Santas wearing shorts and stuff like that. Although it did have some cute moments to it. Not sure what to think right now. I did like the trailer overall. We got an impression. What is the movie about? What is the story? They might have actually gone a little too far because the last little section of the trailer is like, oh, yeah, this is the quest right here, and this is the outcome of the quest right here. And like, well, you probably should have left that for the movie.
I think the thing is with that one, first off, personally, I think this was the best trailer. This is the one thing out of all the trailers I've seen this week, this is actually the one that I like the best. It looks like a movie. It's original. If you'd said that if that was just released as a normal trailer and it was coming to cinemas at Christmas, I'd be like, yes, we're going to see this. This looks like a fun Christmas elfie movie, and it's exactly what I want from this kind of. It looks like a proper, Christmas, that, the snow and the houses and all. It just looks exactly what I would want from a Christmas movie. And yeah, if you said that was coming to cinemas, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I'm loving, Anna Kendrick. I've liked her. Like, she has got that kind of character in the way that she is. She's a sarcastic person. I think this just works well. And it was the one trailer for me that was like, this is what we want. And this movie, I think, is going to be great. And I can't wait to look. They also confirmed launch, which I thought it might have been held back maybe till Thanksgiving, but no, they're going for launch. I mean, they want to get that launch lineup a little bit stronger. I thought this was a really good set for that one. I was impressed with it. I sort of watched it and went, yeah, that is exactly what I want to see at Christmas.
Yeah, like I said, my only complaint with it would be to cut off the last, 15 to 20 seconds of it where they reveal what at least appears to be a fairly important plot point. Now, it might not be. It might be something that happens very early in the movie and then the rest kind of spirals out from there. But yeah, it's a good trailer. I will watch it probably. I probably won't watch it at launch, but maybe like within that time frame. It does seem like it'd be more appropriate to watch it around Christmas, but I'm perfectly fine with them having it as a launch title. Anna Kendrick is a good actress. Bill Hader's a good actor. The bits that we saw looked amusing enough. It'll be a fun little Christmas comedy movie, and honestly, I'd be fine with them using this instead of their little weird elf thing in Hollywood Studios for that Christmas show. Yeah. Anyone who's been to the Hollywood,
I love Prep and Landing.
Oh, no, you don't. You really don't. I cringe whenever I see them. I'd much rather have this up on the wall.
Oh, I watch them every Christmas. I love that show. Right, so we'll move on to the next trailer, Lady and the Tramp. What was your impressions of Lady and Tramp?
This was actually my favorite trailer of the batch. And honestly, I liked this trailer a lot more than I liked even like the Aladdin and Lion King trailer. Obviously, those weren't at D23. The movies are already out. But I'm more excited for Lady and the Tramp, the live-action one, than I was for either of those movies or the upcoming Mulan movie or any of the other ones on the slate, simply because it feels more like what you would want from a live-action. They're using actual dogs. The CGI is obviously going to be used for some of the chase scenes and the carriage and all that, but overall, it looks really good. The voices really match up. The lip syncing looks fine. It looks better than The Lion King. I'll give it that.
As long as it's not like Santa Buddies and all those ones.
No. That was a worry before we saw the trailer. We weren't sure. But yeah, I really like this one, and it's my favorite trailer of the show.
I was a little bit, I wouldn't say lukewarm. I watched it and was like, okay, I see what you're doing. Again, if this movie was never made, I wouldn't worry about it.
That is true.
That's kind of, whereas at least with Noelle, I feel like I'm getting something original-ish. But at least, like Lady and the Tramp looks nice. It looks spot on. High quality. It's like they've really put this out in like it looked crisp and clean. Actually, all of the shows, they were very, very highly polished, and that's exactly what people want. And I think as well, this is good because of the live action dogs. And the fact that they had the dogs actually out there at the D23 Expo, and there's almost that thing of like everyone looking at the Lion King going, yeah, but it's not that, it's animated. This is no, these are real dogs. It's a live action version of Lady and the Tramp with live dogs. And that's what essentially what people wanted. I think after the Lion King, that was like, yeah, we don't want to. They were worried that it was going to be like that, and I think now it's real dogs. Everyone's kind of more. Again,
in fact, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this is a good launch title. I think it's definitely one of the high end ones. And we're going to be one of the ones that they push a lot for it. And yeah, the two dogs just look great doing it.
All the dogs that we saw look great, and this was one I was talking to my brother-in-law about this weekend, and the live action Lady and Tramp, and he went, "Oh, live action Lady and the Tramp." No, actual dogs, not the Lion King, because we all saw the Lion King together several weeks ago, and no, the actual dogs. Also, I want to say this is the first time they've done a new version of one of the classic songs, Bella Notte in this case, where I've actually liked the new version of the song. Like, I haven't liked some of the songs that were done for Aladdin. I haven't liked some of the songs that were done for Lion King. I actually do like this one. That song. Now, I still like the classic one with the two Italian singers, but this version of the song I could actually see myself listening to.
Yeah, like I said, that was there. Moving on to the next one was High School Musical, the series.
I think you missed at least two.
I'm sorry. It's just a running. It's like this. I am typing it out, and I just keep wanting to High School Musical, the series. It's like, no, there is another musical in there, and I mean, I've even seen some articles of people kind of going, we're like, in brackets going, yes, we know it's a horrible name, and it was just like, yeah, they didn't need that second musical. It's ridiculous. The trailer itself, I'll be honest, I've got no interest in this series. I will watch it because I probably have to, but I probably would watch the first episode to see what it's like. I was trying to explain this to staff the other day of going, it's not a reboot. And I was trying to explain this, what it's like. It doesn't make any sense. It's just, I don't know. It's like they're going, yeah, the real stuff, the original ones did happen, but we don't want. I don't know. I mean, they kicked it off. They did the big presentation to start it off. It's like the reaction on like Facebook and YouTube comments and stuff on this one here are really all over the place. People are really loving it, hating it, indifferent to it, and there's a real like it didn't whereas everything else has been quite positive. This one was the one that's kind of had the real what is it?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's going to depend on whether you grew up with the originals or not and how attached to them you are. Now, for me, it's not a series I'm interested in. It's going to be like that last, there's nothing left for me to watch, in which case I'd probably still just like go to Hulu or Netflix and check something before I check this. But I'm not the target audience, and that's fine. I will say the trailer was actually pretty good, though. Not in the sense that it made me want to watch it, but at least it laid out the idea. So now we can actually go, oh, this is the idea of what the show is, why it has the musical in the title. And we got the idea, or at least I got the impression they're doing it kind of The Office style, where they will have actions and then characters will be interviewed by the cameraman, and we'll get an insight into thoughts and such like that, which I think is a perfectly reasonable way of doing it. Yeah. And I kind of like the hook of it, of just some High School Musical fan being like, we've never done the High School the Musical at the musical school, and going from there. It's cheesy. It's not great, but you know what? The target audience for it, it's a perfectly fine setup. All you really want is to have a couple of songs each episode with the big dance routines that you can show off, Glee style, and it'll do that. It'll do fine. And the real selling point or the breaking point will be how interesting the characters are. And we didn't get much of a glimpse of that, except for the one guy who was like, where do you picture yourself? Or are you supposed to be here? No, I'm supposed to be on Broadway or something like that. That was the one character we got any impression of.
Yeah. Like I said, I was a little bit indifferent. I wouldn't say I disliked it. I just was a bit like, meh. But I was kind of meh the minute I heard this series on that. It's just not. It's nothing for me. And like you say, it will be the last original I will watch, and that's just unfortunate. But I'm happy. But if people love it, fine. It's one of those things. If this is going to bring in a certain audience.
Yeah, and the trailer did what it needed to do. It told people what the story is, and I don't think it's really going to change too many people's minds. I think the people who are negative on the trailer were going to be negative on the series, and the people who are positive on the trailer are positive on the series. There might be a slight changeover, crossover, but it's going to be minuscule. Still, it let people know it's out there. If there were High School Musical fans who did not know that this series was coming, now they know, and that is the point of the trailer in this case. So
now we also got the other trailer, Encore, which is Kirsten Bell's TV series, kind of where she goes to high school and puts on musicals. This kind of feels like the real version of High School Musical, just with adults, where adults get to like redo this musicals, kind of all feel good, just like a feel good TV series. Kind of, I've seen a few comments, people going, "Yeah, this was a failed TV show, and they brought it back." Yeah, it's interesting. I think I'm more interested in this than the High School Musical, because this is a real one, and it's going to be feel good. It's going to be super cheesy. It's going to be super fluffy. It is probably going to be, it'll be interesting. What did you think of Encore?
Generally along the same lines. Originally, when we first found out about the series, the only thing that was drawing me into it was that it was Kristen Bell, who is an actress I quite like. I've been following her since Veronica Mars and more recent shows. The Good Place is fantastic. I know it's not a Disney show, but that one deserves to be called out. It's a great show. And when I saw the original pitch for this, I was like, so it's American Idol, but not like, and that turns out that's not what it is at all. And this actually is far more interesting to me than yet another American Idol knockoff. Now that doesn't put it near the top of the list. It's still kind of, but I would watch it before High School, the musical, the show, or whatever its official title is. But yeah, you're right. There are a lot of very interesting feel-good stories in here. There's, of course, the guy who wanted to be a dancer and was in an accident. And now
I thought that was good. That seems like that's going to be a bit.
That'll be a good one. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with the woman who very obviously could not sing at all. I assume they're going to train her a lot before. Well, obviously,
or just make her a tree.
They'll make her a tree. No, she's the star. You can't make it unless it's Groot, and the entire song is "I Am Groot," which might actually be entertaining. No, she actually had to learn how to sing again and do the songs. I like the idea of it. I'm not sure I'll ever get around to watching it, but it does seem like that good fluffy show. You want to kind of the cotton candy feel good show. I could see turning this on. I'm
hoping as well with this and High School Musical, if they do them as a weekly drop, that'll help. That'll help keep people going and stuff. So I think that's definitely a cool thing. Just a quick note before we get on to the other trailer that got released. Just looking here at numbers in terms of the official trailers. So Encore is sitting at about 188,000 trailers views at the minute. So it's the least watched out of all of them, which is not a huge surprise because this was the unknown. This is a series. High School Musical, just over 500,000. Then when we hit like Noelle, 366,000 views. I really think a lot of people are sleeping on this movie. I don't think people know what it is yet. I think also having a Christmas trailer in August, I don't think that's a great thing. Probably it would have been better to have held off this. And I've just noticed that there is another trailer, which I forgot we're going to talk about in a minute, was Goldblum's TV series, 138. Again, a bit of a sleeper. I don't think that show will kind of, it's interesting, but it's not really going to pull in the numbers. But the two big ones, Ladyandtramp, 2 million. The Mandalorian, 8.6 million. If that doesn't say what is the interest between these TV series and movies, nothing does. The ratio of views between there is dramatically different. So you can definitely see which ones are the most popular there.
Yeah, actually, and I was kind of wondering right now is how does that compare to Rise of the Skywalker, which obviously was not at D23 or nothing new at D23, I should say. But that one's actually kind of hard to figure out because every single news outlet seems to have released it on their own personal YouTube, and it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah,
I mean the official website is at 31 million for the official.
Okay, so
Skywalker, yeah.
But it's also been out for a bit longer, and it's more well-known than The Mandalorian. But I was kind of curious just to see how that one worked out.
So the other trailer, which I kind of forgotten there, was and there's another trailer, and the other one was the World According to Jeff Goldblum. I'll be honest, I'm really liking the look of this series. This is like a thing of, I think, Jeff Goldblum's ever since The Fly and Jurassic Park. I've always liked him as a character. Independence Day, he was at one point kind of one of the top A-list actors. He kind of just drifted away a bit because I think he can kind of only play one kind of character. But that character is, I think, almost a caricature of himself, because that seems to be the way he comes across in this trailer. Is he's all over the place. He's just intrigued by everything. He's just learning. I love this kind of stuff. I like watching like travel documentaries where they take a comedian and stuff and put them in different places. I'm watching one of them on the BBC now, and I just like this. I like the trailer. I like all the things he's doing. This will be a great show for me. I've been sort of watching a few of the things he's been talking on when he's been doing his live presentations and stuff. Yeah, this is for me, one of the series I'm most interested about because it's what I like. And again, it feels like this is the adult TV series for the adults to watch. It's not for the kiddies. This is for us to watch, and it is the target audience. I think is us. This is who they're aiming it at, and hook, line, and sinker. This is one of the top shows I'm interested in. It probably will be Mandalorian, Jeff Goldblum. I'll probably watch Noelle and Ladyandtramp, but this will be a great series. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this one kind of caught me by surprise. Now, that was largely because I wasn't sure what it was going to be about or what the focus of it was going to be. And I really appreciate that Jeff Goldblum has really leaned into this very strange persona that he's got now. You know, we saw it in Thor Ragnarok, where he was playing the Game Master and just being straight up quirky. And he's been, of course, doing all the Wes Anderson films. And he's just, and now you're just like, he's not even acting in those movies. That's basically just Jeff Goldblum with face paint on being the Game Master. And that's really the impression I got from the trailer. And I was like, the range of things that he's doing, because he's all the way down on like, we're just going to play street basketball. I'm like, sure, I'll watch Jeff Goldblum play street basketball for a little bit, and then all the way.
Can't wait for that ice cream episode.
That looks so weird, but in a good way. In a good way, it looks like quirky fun and just all over the place, and you don't know what's going to happen. And he's got that magnetic personality where you're like, I don't know what you're doing. I know it's weird, but I just enjoy watching you do it. So. Yeah, this is definitely very high on the list of things that I want to see when it comes out. I think it's flying under the radar. I hope that it picks up some steam, gets a lot of push on, say, the National Geographic's portion of Disney+. But yeah, I honestly, going into it, I was kind of like, all right, it'll be quirky. I'm already kind of interested. But after seeing the trailer, I'm like, there's some stuff in here that's completely off the wall, but should be highly entertaining.
Yeah, that definitely was the one that caught me off guard. There was also another trailer released just before, or the night before, which was called One Day at Disney, which was, this was a bit of an odd one. They put the trailer out, and it kind of tells the story of, there's going to be 50 of these shorts. They're about 4 to 7 minutes long each. And they'll all be profiling a single remarkable person and their fascinating job within Disney. There's going to be some people all over the things, so like Walt Disney engineers. You're going to have animators. You're going to have a guy that runs the railroad. You're going to have a person that runs the books. You've got ESPN stuff. Good Morning. You've got artists and stuff. So it's all over the place. And the trailer itself was very kind of Disney, basically everyone should work for Disney and just be in awe of their jobs and just be, grateful. I'll be honest, there was this kind of thing going, okay, this looks good. There are some things that I want to get into about this trailer afterwards and about this announcement, but the show looks good. Weekly episodes, again, good. The fact that we got 50 of them, that means we're set right through till November next year, where I'm sure they'll then do season 2, because this is nothing more than a fluff piece for Disney. Nice, cheap, easy content. You don't even have to pay any actors because you're already paying them. But it looked good. I know people were going, I'm crying watching this, and going, oh, it's like very, very well made. They filmed this, I think, back in February and stuff. Very super glossy, super fluffy, but kind of perfect kind of filler, really.
I'm actually going to be a little bit less kind to it. It's not fluffy. It's propaganda straight up.
Yeah, that was this part 2. I was doing the nice stuff first.
Yeah, it's important to realize we're a Disney podcast. Obviously, we are going to be on the whole positive to Disney, but let's not mince words. Some of the policies they have in place, some of the backroom politics that goes on, whether it be the costumed actors, the Ariels and the Gastons and whatnot, or the people who just work at Disney, the various stall vendors, the ride operators and stuff like that. Disney doesn't have the best track record in treating them well. I think there was something with, like, the costume actors, they get points, and points being a positive word is not the case in this, where they get points for being late, for maybe doing the wrong thing or being in the wrong location. And if you get a certain amount of points, you could just be fired straight up. I think it's 24, maybe. I'm not a costume actor, obviously, so I don't know the internals. But yeah, they're very rigorous. They're very strict. It's all part of keeping the magic for the guests, which is the price that then the park operators pay. They obviously know that a lot of the people who want to work at the parks are willing to endure some abuse, because a lot of the people at the parks are themselves big fans, and the being part of the Disney magic is a dream. That said, it's not all bad. And it's not all propaganda when there are positive stories, because you'll also hear stories about, the costumed actors who will go out of their way to talk to specific children, or to, they learn sign language so that they can talk to deaf children and stuff like that. So obviously I'm not completely just like raining on this parade. There are a lot of very, very good things that come out of it too.
I saw a video the other day of this kid dressed up as Ray, and all the like.
That was a great clip.
Just standing there, and they're all like reacting to her, and then Ray comes over with Chewbacca, and they cuddle her and say hello, and there's like things like that. There is that whole magical thing to it. There was a lot of like comments along the lines of, well, your staff are all living in their cars because they're not paid enough. I was like, oh yeah, this is where you kind of like, and you're not willing to pay the minimum wage for the area, like at Disneyland, and like, yeah, this is where like. Yeah, like you say, this could be very easily used at the trailer for come get a job with us, and this is the part of your orientation package kind of thing. It is, like you say, it is propaganda in some ways. It was super cheesy, super fluffy. Like, us just looked straight through it. I think we're just along the lines of, we're not maybe that thing of like you say. Some people love it, some people hate it. I was a bit like, okay. The problem with this one was that they kind of been hyping this thing up as this secret project, this special secret project, and minds were racing in terms of what was going to be. This was going to be the 5th theme park. This was going to be, I don't know, Disneyland on the moon. It was just like people's imaginations were going bonkers because they put out this special secret project, and it turned out that this was it. And it's basically, not only is it a series, but it's also a coffee table book. And it was like, okay, I see what they're doing. This is going to be coming on December the 3rd. That's when it kicks off. And I was a bit like, yeah, like I saw it on, I think it was on the DSI newscast. They were sort of saying, if they said it was a secret Disney Plus project, it might have worked better than just saying it was a secret Disney project. But I suppose the coffee table book and the fact that it involves the entire Disney organization that have been filming it, I don't know. It was the fact that it came out before the D23, or sort of the kickoff of the D23 Expo, when all the excitement about Disney is at its highest, a packed room full of diehard sorcerer ticket holders that have paid a fortune to be there, all the media. It's just interesting as well that it's like almost like one of the first trailers we've seen from Disney Plus was this kind of big push thing. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to watch this outside of it. People might click on it, but I do think it's a good idea, and I think we all want to know more about what's going on with their staff and what they're doing, and it just, like you say, it was a little bit sugar-coated.
See, this is the kind of thing, I could see this show being very popular, like at the parks themselves. We already know that Disney Plus will be included in certain resorts and stuff like that. It would be the kind of one where you get back to the hotel, you're tired, the kids are tired, you need to put something on, but you don't really want to do like Mickey's Racers or something. You throw this on, we've been at the park all day, and now we get to see this person talking about their experiences at the park, or that person talking about how much they love doing this ride, or seeing the princesses running around and stuff like that. It's also worth noting, of course, it's not specifically or not entirely the parks. They've got animators and stuff like that too, and their experience is going to be very different.
Yeah, it's just, I think as a whole, that was just, yeah, it was super fluffy. I thought it was okay. I will watch these. I'm interested to see where they go. I think it was. Luckily, it's going to be all completely turned over, but there was a bit of a negative outlook to it from regards to paying their staff, but also a lot of people disappointed because I think they were expecting a lot more than a short series of fluff pieces and a coffee table book. I think Disney kind of set themselves up with this secret announcement, which is like when people go, "Oh, it's a new theme park." No, but why would they do it there and not at the parks presentation? Like, no, this has got nothing to. This is probably going to be something, and games people were going, they were going to announce a new console or a new video game. It's like, it just went everywhere, and so everyone got disappointed because they set the bar a little bit too high for themselves. I was expecting something like my expectation was probably a book or some special app or something that they've kind of. I had like really low expectations. I wasn't letting my mind, but a lot of people went bonkers on it.
Disney Infinity 4.0 starring Sora.
That even came up.
That was only what I just came up with, but I'm sure that was all over the place. Or a Kingdom Hearts thing or something like that. They hyped this wrong. And not just the content of the show itself, but the hype around it. And you know what, to be honest, they probably just completely misread it. I could totally see why in kind of like a Disney echo chamber, like corporate echo chamber, they would see this as a huge announcement and a big thing to hype up. And it's this one great big pat on the back, isn't it? It's a little bit like, aren't we amazing? Yeah, but outside of everybody else is going, what? It's like employee of the month. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to anybody outside. I think there is going to be a big audience for this series, and I think there's going to be a lot of interest in it. And I'm liking the idea, but it's going to vary depending on series. If you got somebody from ESPN, I'm not going to watch it. But then the next one might be an animation for an animator. Are we interested in that? So it's going to jump around a bit. It's like, are we going to get the refuge? I really want to see the refuge collectors at the parks and what they do. Where there's, that kind of thing. But they're not going to do, there's anything bad. But yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. Look, I liked it, but there was a little bit of a negative feedback to it. Yeah, and I think a lot of it was them hyping it up. If they had just kind of announced this as a thing and presented it for what it was, which is a fluff piece and what everyone can transparently see is a fluff piece, I think people would have been like, okay, that's cool. I'll probably watch a couple episodes here and there based on the stuff that interests me, like you were just talking about. And then it would just be quickly, shunned aside. It would be something that shows up every once in a while on your Disney search bar while you're in Disney Plus, and you could see something interesting or not. Who knows? But
I'm really hoping as well with all these series and stuff, I'm hoping that they don't do like the Netflix where they put everything out on a Friday. I'd kind of quite like a daily. And I think that's the thing. If when you drop into Disney Plus and there's a new today or new series, and you're going to have that. I think that's going to really be important to kind of have, and dropping them regularly is going to be a big thing.
I agree. I suspect that they'll do the drop everything on Friday or Tuesday or whatever, but I would like that because then you can go, all right, on Tuesday, there's a new episode of Mandalorian. That's only an hour commitment or a 45-minute commitment. I can watch that while I'm munching on dinner or, something like that. And then Thursday is when the new episode of High School Musical, the musical shows up.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously a huge fan. And I'm going to watch that on Wednesdays and then so forth. And staggering them doesn't make you feel like, oh, I've got to watch all of these on Friday.
Yeah.
Because, if you are following them closely, it'll be like, I've fallen behind on this. And now you're in that Netflix syndrome where everyone's talking about the latest episode of Daredevil or the latest series of Daredevil. But you're like, I'm only on episode 2. So I don't know. Yeah. But I do like that, as we've mentioned multiple times, it is a weekly release and not a binge. I know that's disappointing to some people. There is a binge culture, but you know what? You can wait until it's all completely out.
But also, more importantly, they get you long term, because if The Mandalorian is 8 episodes, that means people will subscribe for at least 2 months, so they get twice your money. So rather than if you binge watch the entire thing over in the first 14 days of your free trial and you don't bother again, that's key. So here's some other news that have come through from the D23 Expo. We've got a new animated series called Spidey and His Amazing Friends, going to be coming 2021. This is going to be coming to Disney Junior. So again, big thing for Disney Junior is going to be on Disney Plus. There's going to be, if you go in the kids section, I saw there's actually a Disney Junior section, so you can expect to see lots of this. We also got Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. There's an animated series coming for that one there with I think it's Lawrence Fishburne is involved in that one.
Well, he was the one who came out on stage to present it.
Yeah.
And while I don't think they said what his involvement is, I'm kind of hoping that it will be his character from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Goliath, who, you know, didn't do much in the movie in terms of superheroing, but you could certainly set a precedent that he would be kind of the mentor to Moon Girl in this case. But we'll see. She's an interesting character, and this could be a lot of fun.
Again, anything that kind of, I do view anything on the Disney Channel is fair game for Disney Plus now. We kind of just the way we're looking at it. During the main panel for the movies, they announced Raya and the Last Dragon, which will be coming in, I can't remember exactly.
I think it said 2021.
Yeah.
No, the end of 2020, actually.
Yeah, so next year. So that's a new Disney animation. I love the idea. It's all Asian. It's got a big dragon in it. Just looks good. I like the artwork for it. The art style looks good. We got a little bit more of an image of Soul, kind of giving off some new characters and basically on the lines of almost like dead people, kind of.
It's the dead people. It's Coco and Inside Out kind of mix.
Kind of merged together. We got our first look at Emma Stone as Cruella. Obviously, that movie got pushed back to Memorial Day 2021. It moved from the Christmas slot from next year because of West Side Story. But we got to see that footage of her. So I do think it's probably a better slot for not being at Christmas. I think getting out of the way of West Side Story is probably a good thing.
Yeah, and the picture released at least looks interesting, although she looks more like she's rocking a kind of Bella Lestrange from Harry Potter look rather than a traditional Cruella.
But I think it's like 70s or it's kind of like punk rock kind of era.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'm kind of iffy on this movie. Obviously, we don't know much about it yet, but one of the things I've always appreciated about Cruella is that she is just straight up a villain. No, there's no redeeming side to this character. She's not a complex character. No, her motive is to kill puppies and skin them and make a coat out of it. I mean, you don't get much more evil than that. And I really hope that they don't actually soften her character with this. No. I don't want the tragic backstory where
she has to get more villainous to become to want to do it, isn't it? It's just maybe she starts out cute and something happens to her. I don't know. I'm
mixed on this. Emma Stone's a good actress, though, so we'll see. But
Black Panther 2 was announced for the D23 Expo. They announced it's going to be coming out May 2022, so maybe Christmas 2022 for Disney Plus. Wasn't a huge surprise. We knew it was coming, but that was pretty much really the only new-ish announcement. The whole presentation, because they showed off some stuff for the Eternals and they showed off bits for Jungle Cruise, but I think unless you're actually in that arena, we know nothing. There was no trailers. It felt very flat compared to the Disney Plus one. So that was that one. There wasn't really anything else really that presentation that I went, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. Really.
No, they're really just name dropping stuff at the moment. They didn't even really provide details for most of the new projects, so there's nothing to get super excited about, and that's probably on purpose. They don't want something overshining that launch lineup or the early 2020 lineup of Disney Plus titles.
No, I was just expecting something maybe like the Jungle Cruise. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something for that one. Right, let's just go through here some other bits and pieces from this past week. Phileas and Ferb, the movie, Candace Against the Universe, that was confirmed as the name of the Phileas and Ferb movie, which we knew about. That was back at the Investors Day, but now we've got a name. We also got Ming Nang Wang, I think that's how you pronounce it. She's actually part of the Star Wars Mandalorian. You might know her as Mulan or Agent May. We also, just going through here, a few other bits and pieces. We had some, this was the big news, really. During the presentations, they were doing like live presentations constantly on the Disney Plus stage about Disney Plus. They confirmed that you can have in your account, you can have 7 users. So 7 different users, and you can pick from hundreds of different avatars, and you can also set it as like an adult or a kids version, and there's a slight different variation, obviously, in what those profiles can do. So each account can have 7 different profiles. They can have up to 10 different devices attached to that account, and there can be 4 simultaneous screens within that. And I think it was very important that they got that information out there, because it's kind of, especially after that whole password sharing kerfuffle last week. I think that was a good thing. So 4 people can watch it at any one time with your account. So, if one of them is in California and one of them is in New York, I don't think they're necessarily, because I don't think they're necessarily wanting to go any further than that. That's where they start going after you. But much more than Netflix or Hulu at that rate for 4 people to be watching us. I thought that was good news. You can't really fault them for kind of confirming that information.
No, that's good. It's positive news, and it'll be good for families. So they can have each of the kids watching it on their tablets and stuff like that, but not their Amazon Fire tablets. Sorry, we won't go into that.
Yeah, that's constantly a question. Like, they just haven't announced it. It will be coming.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, you've got unlimited download, so you can download as much stuff onto your devices as you possibly can. So the limit is basically your device. The more if you've not got a lot of space on your device, you're not going to be able to download a lot. But there's no constraints on the number of titles you can download a year. And once downloaded, subscribers can watch them on the go with or without an internet connection, and it's all going to be down to your device. There will be movies in 4K Ultra Video with Dolby Vision, Ultra Vivid Imagining, HDR10, and Dolby Atmos in immersive audio on supported devices for available programming. So that's interesting for those tech ones. Commercial-free viewings, they won't have a single commercial. Obviously, I said about there's over 200 avatars available. Concurrent streaming will allow up to 4 people to use it. 4 registered devices, so you might have to register your devices that they're accessing on. Multiple languages. At launch, it will be supporting English, Spanish, French, and Dutch languages, including both user interface as well as an audio support and subtitles for library content, and additional languages available for Disney Plus originals. Great news there. Also, they will offer closed captioning, descriptive audio, and navigational experiences to help subscribers with disabilities to discover and enjoy their favorite shows. Great. I thought that was really good that they kind of got out there and got that technical information out there.
Yeah, I mean, nothing too exciting, nothing too amazing, but information that needs to be out there for the people that applies to, especially in regards to accessibility.
Yeah, that reminds me, I'm going to have to completely update all the FAQs on the website this week. That'll
be a good thing. It's always annoying going to a website and the FAQs like 7 years out of date.
Yeah, it's just, I think we updated it in April when all the information, and we hadn't heard anything since, so I'll get all that one. Bad news was that the Disney Plus fill-in series Book of Enchantment got cancelled. Apparently, it was going too dark, and probably the budget was getting too busy, but primarily, they could not get the tone right on the series. So it's kind of one of the big cancellations, really, that kind of kicked through. Probably a good thing they got that in before everything got announced.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I thought it sounded interesting, but they couldn't go too light with it because that would be just the Descendants, and you obviously don't want to go too dark because then you start scaring kids. So I can kind of see why this would be a difficult one for them to get right.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of The Mandalorian, the first Mandalorian pop vinyl is available at the D23 Expo this weekend, but also there's 4 going to be ones that are going to be available everywhere. I'm going to be picking up that Mandalorian one. I don't know about the other 3 ones, but the Mandalorian. Another series coming to Disney Plus is one called Pick of the Litter, which is going to be a 6-part series, about 30 minutes long each, all about basically training like guide dog puppies and other service dogs. This is based on a documentary movie that came out a couple of years ago. I'll be honest, I am super excited about this one. We used to look after and had a couple of guide dog puppies when I was a kid. We used to train them up. And my auntie used to work for the Guide Dogs for the Blind, and there's literally, I'm probably only a couple of feet away from an actual hotel where the guests stay that are blind, and they look after the dogs, and they train dogs as well. So I see like guide dogs every single day and interact with them all the time. So for me, this was like, oh, this is cool. This is good. I'm really hoping people get to see a little bit more behind the curtain on what goes on with training service dogs.
Absolutely. It's a good thing for people to know about, and I hope that kids who end up watching this will have a greater appreciation for why you don't pet guide dogs and service dogs in public.
No, not without asking them first.
That's what I meant.
The dogs do like it, and the owners are quite happy normally to do it, but not when they're in the middle of working. But nevertheless, Angela Bassett is apparently going to be directing the CV series The Imagineering Story. This was originally going to be a documentary movie. It's kind of been turned into a series, so that's kind of cool to see them do that. Let's carry on. Shook is no longer going to be a Disney Plus original. This was announced that it's going to be coming to the YouTube channel, and it stars Sophia Wilde, who is in High School Musical, the musical. So she also was in Annie Mac. So it's going to be like a dance short thing, but they will all be on Disney Plus as well. But a bit of just YouTube first. Okay, let's have a look here. So there's another Disney Channel, a movie called Upside Down Magic, which is based on a classic book. A little bit more information coming on that one. Obviously, as well, there was the Founders Circle package, which I don't know if we mentioned last week or not. But if you're at the D23 Expo, and also if you're a D23 member until early September, you can sign up for a special 3-year bundle of Disney Plus. You get about 33% off. You also, if you're at the event, you get a pin, but obviously if you're not, you get that 33% off. So it's a good offer if you think you're going to be into Disney Plus for a long time. Great bargain, great price. I was wondering if they're going to do this, if it was open to Disney Plus or Disney D23 members that aren't Gold members. We don't yet know yet. But it's a good little bundle.
I think they did specify it was Gold members. Yeah. And also, to be clear, if you are at D23, you get the 33% and the pin, not the pin or 33%. Just to be clear, the phrasing was a little bit weird.
A good offer. If you are looking to get that ESPN and Hulu bundle, don't do this. Wait till that comes in November. It really depends. I think it's a good bundle to lock you in. The thing is, with cord cutting, you don't need to. You can subscribe on a monthly basis. You can take out that annual package, or you can take out this 3-year deal. I was a little questions of people going, well, why are they reducing it so much? And they're going, because they're locking you in. They're getting you subscribed long term, and that's what they want.
Oh, yeah. This entire industry is based on subscriber numbers, and now they're locking people in. Also, it is a nice bone to throw to D23 members, because D23 members are the people who are probably going to be subscribed for 3 years anyway, so they get that nice incentive.
Worth noting as well. I did look into just like, how much is a Gold membership? $99. I don't get any of the benefits because I don't get the books and the discounts and the events that I can go to. I'm going, pay $100 to pay more for the package to get a 33% discount, which will bring out about $100. It's actually financially not viable just to become a member just to get the package, because it won't work out. I did do the maths myself to work out if it would save me money, but it didn't, so I won't be doing that system. We also got all the official social media accounts are now open: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They've been everywhere promoting. Great to see them do this, because I was really worried for a time that they weren't doing this and just going out through the main channels, because it was like confusing people. I think it's good that they have a set team for dealing with this, and I think that's definitely a good thing going forward. So that's always a good thing. This was the big news, really, was they announced the details for the launch for international, which was good for everyone, not for me, but nevertheless. Right, let's get into the details of international launch. So they confirmed that it's going to be coming on November it'll be coming to Australia, New Zealand, Netherlands, and Canada. It'll be coming to Canada and the Netherlands on the same day as the US. $8.99 in Canadian money. Loonies? Was it toonies? Loonies and toonies, isn't it? That's what you get up there. $89.99 for the year. In euros, it's $6.99 a month or $69.99 a year, respectively. We'll get into that in a minute. New Zealand and Australia will follow the following week, November the 19th. $8.99 per month in Australia, $9.99 in New Zealand, or you can get an $89 for the year in Australia, $99 in things. Great to see this happening. Great news to have them everywhere going like this. I was expecting it to there's been a lot of talk about Australia because of the stuff going on with Stan. This was a fantastic news for all of those countries. There's obviously going to be a little bit of variation depending on market of where it's available. Great news. Can't really go too wrong from that on there from them. I'm really glad that the main English speaking channels, except for the country that we speak English in, was excluded, but so that was good news for them. They also confirmed a list of devices that it's going to be on: Apple devices, Google devices, Microsoft Xbox, PlayStation 4, Roku. No mention of Amazon. The reason for this is they basically haven't signed a deal yet. They've still got 2 months. Don't panic, everyone. I know if you've got an Amazon stick, there's a lot of things argy-bargy. They've still got 2 months to sort of deal out. They have said they want to work with all the different devices. They just haven't got it. There'll probably be a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if that gets revealed very soon, because Amazon aren't gonna like everyone doing it. The other alternative idea is Amazon may not want to do it because they've got their streaming platform, but this will get sorted.
We'll see how it all works out. I'm sure it'll get sorted at some point. I think people are actually more worried about the tablets because Amazon has that super cheap kid tablet, the Fire $50 plus like a super cheap case that you can put it in. I will remind viewers, assuming a deal doesn't work out, at least in the past, historically, you've been able to load up the browser, Firefox, legally on the Amazon Fire. You can get it off the App Store, and then you can go to disneyplus.com and watch it through the browser. That's how people got around YouTube. That's perfectly legal. That's not a workaround. And that is a worst case scenario. But I'm with you. I think that they're going to work this out. It's in both companies' best interest.
I have a Fire Stick that I have Disney Life on, that I watch on. The only reason I brought the Fire Stick was to watch Disney Life because it wasn't really on any other platforms. But worst case scenario, I'll pick up probably a Roku or an Apple TV box to plug in because my smart TV isn't listed. I've got an LG one. They still got a few months, so there's going to be a lot more stuff to happen. It will be a bit of a rollout. I could use it on my Xbox and stuff, but until it's officially out here, I can't really do that. Rather than going for the other way. Now, obviously, UK. Right, come on, Disney. This was bad. I am not kidding. I even actually had a phone call from a person asking me about it. Because I put out there to do something, and it was like, this is how much of a thing. People are just annoyed about the UK, and then Star Wars UK then put out saying it will be available in early 2020. They did the same in France. They've also been doing that in Latin countries as well, kind of coming out saying 2020, kind of getting the deal out there. I don't know what's going on with the UK, UK and Ireland. We're putting it under the same bracket here. You've got your English-speaking countries, Canada, Australia. You're missing two. You've already got a streaming service in this country, which you could just rebrand. Heck, just put the Mandalorian, put these shows on that, just to tie this over. I mean, we say early 20, it could be January. It could be January the 1st. But this was really like such an own go because my feeds were just full of people asking, what about UK? What about UK? What about UK? What about Ireland? What about Ireland? And you're like going, well, you've done your major launch things. You've got Disney Plus. Now, the reason for this could be couple of reasons. It could be an existing deal with Sky where they can't put some of the stuff on there because of that. I also primarily, and my opinion is, don't think they wanted to put the news out that Disney Life is being turned into Disney Plus. I think they wanted to keep that a separate maybe story, but the fact they didn't want any things. There could be legal things. I'm not even going to mention Brexit because that was another one that's been thrown around. But yeah, really, I know like the Brits and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of people moaning, and other countries going, "Oh, at least you're getting it like early 2020." We don't know, but this was such a bad you can't do in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, and leaving out the UK and Ireland just felt like a really bad. And all I've seen people going is VPNs and piracy. That was he's like, you are setting this up because we're going to work our way around it. You think I'm not going to watch The Mandalorian for 3 months? And you think Star Wars fans are going to just, I know it's a bit of a rant, but this was a really bad, it was great for every other country, but this seemed very strange.
Yeah, there's obviously something we don't know in the background going on that's preventing them. Disney's not stupid. They know that the UK is a major market, and I guarantee they absolutely wanted the UK on launch day, straight up. Like you said, they already have Disney Life over there. It would have been a fairly easy transition. The whole piracy thing, they're not stupid. Like I said, they know if we don't make it available, we being Disney, don't make it available, people will find a way. Life finds a way. Go back to Jeff Goldblum right there. People will watch The Mandalorian. People will watch Jeff Goldblum and Noelle and all this stuff. And if you do not make an easy legal avenue, then they'll do illegal. This is what made Netflix popular in the first place. They made a legal, easy avenue to watch movies. It actually is, or back in the day, it was easier to find a movie on Netflix than it was to go out and find a pirated copy of it. And
they are going to be teaming up with some countries and stuff to show it in different areas. But the thing is, like with Europe as a whole, I think this whole thing of just doing the Netherlands and not doing the whole of Western Europe was a bit of a curveball. I don't know if it's because they didn't want the whole of Europe and the whole of Canada and America launching on the same day. Maybe had they said coming December the 1st or something like that, it might have been a bit better. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a European details between now and the launch. I think they will maybe want to get that out there a bit clearer. The fact they've started putting out this message on the Star Wars pages, maybe they're going to start kind of rolling it out. But early 2020, not bad, but it just, I think, obviously, yeah, people in Germany and, you know, Poland and Italy and stuff, you know, you've all got just as much of a right to moan about it, the fact of it being late. There's Asian countries and Latin countries, Mexico's obviously, everyone there is like going, we're in North America, we should be getting it at the same time. Yeah, you should. I don't think this whole thing of a global rollout is not easy. Netflix didn't do it, but then they rolled out slowly over time. Disney are going to come in a lot different, but I think they need to get this out as quickly as they can everywhere. But I think, you know, there's another thing of going, if you're getting it out in English-speaking countries, leaving out the UK and Ireland was a little bit odd. But there could be reasons for it. Hopefully it won't be too long. But yeah, it's going to be an odd one for them to do. It is unfortunate. The only good thing, at least for UK and Ireland, if you're all the legacy stuff, we've probably actually got more on Disney Life than Disney Plus is going to have. So there's going to be some stuff missing. But I think there's going to be actually a lot of stuff from Disney Life that won't be on Disney Plus straight away. There might be some regional differences, but at least we do have a version of it that you can do. So if you want to watch, you know, Sleeping Beauty, you can do that through that way. So I'm not going to be cancelling my Disney Life just yet, but just a kind of a thing, really. It was a bit of a rant. I'm a Brit and I'm allowed to rant. That was the thing. But yeah, that's definitely an own go.
I'm not a Brit, and I think I'm allowed to rant. I think it's a stupid idea. It's really going to affect them in 2020 or whenever it finally launches, because people will be like, yeah, but I already saw The Mandalorian. I watched it on my friend's, server or whatever, or I VPN'd, and it's going to make the sales of D23 of Disney Plus lower in these markets that get it later, because they're not going to have the incentive. And even if they don't watch The Mandalorian or Jeff Goldblum through illegal means, they're gonna be like, well, the hype's already gone. Everyone's already seen it.
Yeah, it's just bad. Kind of moving on from that one there, from another quick, I have a few things. They're renaming Mickey and the Roadster Racers to Mickey Mouse's Mixed Up Adventures on the Disney Channel for the 3rd season. That'll be coming on October, so expect to see that on Disney Plus. Also, the Proud Family are going to be coming to Disney Plus as well. This one was kind of on a red carpet event. One of the actors, Tony Davison, kind of revealed that it was coming and they're working on it. I don't think he should have been telling people, but that was confirmed that they're going to be bringing back. And also, did you ever watch Proud Family?
No, I never saw the Proud Family. I've seen little bits and pieces in the form of memes, but I've never actually seen it.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. But then when I went back and watched it is actually on one of the images back from the Investors Day that the series was going to be, the old episodes are going to be on there. So that's good. Love, Simon has now begun production. So that was an official reveal. Also, Star Wars Resistance is returning for its final season. And that one, the good thing with Star Wars Resistance, it's been confirmed for Disney Plus because it was one of the only things that we saw come up in the actual carousel when we were going through all the demos, because I've been like going through the eagle eye to try and see if there was anything new, and Resistance was shown in there. But that was the other thing. All these, you could tell when they were doing the demonstrations, they would never go more than like one drop down when they were doing the actual announcement showing you what they were. We saw hardly any legacy content being shown off within the apps.
And that's probably on purpose. They probably want us to focus on the new stuff. And it's also possible the legacy stuff isn't ready for the app. You know, they haven't made the icons or, you know, the listings and all that.
Yeah. I was expecting us to, you know, then they're saying about, oh, you're going to be able to get your hands on and you're going to be doing presentations and you can use the app. But okay, cool. So we're going to get, so, you know, well, we're bound to start seeing some, because we've been all going through the app and trying to, it's like, no, they really did lock it down. And it's like, okay, no, we don't, I hardly know any legacy stuff extra from last time. Also, again, last bit of news really, Luke Davy-Jones is going to be the Senior Vice President of Direct Consumer and General Manager for Disney Plus Europe and Africa, but he's not starting until later this year, so it's his fault why we're not getting it. Because if he'd started the job earlier, he might have been in there. Also, Spectrum TV will be getting Disney Plus, or might be getting Disney Plus. They announced a deal with them. And yeah, I think that kind of pretty much sets up everything, really. I think that was everything. It's just trying to go back to when we last did our podcast. But yeah, there's been tons of stuff this week. It's been an absolute bumper of an episode.
Well, I mean, it's not like anything major happened, so it's a huge surprise. It's a huge surprise for us. And I think there'll still be a couple of more things trickling out over the course of this week. There's still some time for stuff. And now that the big announcements, the investor call is done, D23 is done, San Diego is done.
Got New York Comic Con in October.
Right. Although that's never, it's big, but it's not as big as San Diego, and it's not as big as D23, at least from the Disney perspective. The major stuff is done. So, yeah, the return to regular press releases should resume.
Actually, I think we'll be seeing that continuous drip feed. I think we're going to start seeing some trailers dropping more regularly now that they've got the big guns out of the way, because this primarily the trailers that we all saw were all like launch titles. You know, you've got things like Togo and you've got all these other series and stuff that are all coming. I think we're going to see lots more trailers, lot more. They're going to go basically on the hard sell for the next 2 months of just get it out there, get this brand out there and really push it. So yeah, it was just a bumper week. We knew it was going to be, but yeah, tons of news, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more news coming up. So a quick note. So next week, we'll be obviously the show as normal. The following week, we got a bit of a different episode where I spoke with Casey from What's on Netflix. Spoke to him this past week, and I'm going to get to hear that episode where me and him, we just talk about Netflix and the streaming thing as a whole. That was a really interesting conversation I had with him. So that'll be coming up in 2 weeks' time. I thought, well, we recorded it this week, but I thought I'll let you all know that there's a little bit of a preview of an upcoming episode. But on that note, guys, make sure you do hit that subscribe button on both the audio platforms and on YouTube. Make sure you follow us over on Facebook and Twitter. Join our Facebook group. We're just shy of probably 10,000 by the end of the weekend. So it was massively grown there as well. So feel free to join us in on that one. And we shall see you guys in another episode. Later.